Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. This is Jacqueline Foster of Feeling Good TV, the place to come visit when you're really yearning to make an impact without sacrificing your passion and pleasure. Now, why am I sharing these words? I want to talk a little bit about this. I'm going to repeat them one more time. Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. These are words that are often attributed to Buddha, but actually seem to come from an anonymous source. Regardless, they're extremely wise words, and I want to start off with them today to talk about the concept of forgiveness. And more importantly, within this concept of forgiveness, who we forgive for and why we do it. I want to talk about these really two important big pieces. And then along with that, at the end, I'd love to share with you a couple ways, a couple things that you can do to begin to integrate this into your life. So, who do we forgive for? This quote is a perfect example of really getting this understanding of when we hold on to hurt, when we hold on to anger, jealousy, bitterness, resentment, what happens is we are hurting ourselves. We are hurting ourselves. We often think that when we feel this upset and we hold this charge that we're somehow making the other person bad or wrong or empowering ourselves. But really what's happening is we are giving our time and our energy to this person that we're upset with. Why do we do that? So it's really, really important to remember that when we forgive, we are doing it for ourselves so that we can return back to the energy that we want to have for ourselves to pursue things that are important for us. And obviously, when we give our energy away, in the end, that often leads to being tired, being stressed, being more overwhelmed, because we are just draining our energy on someone else. And then, of course, that time factor, usually when we're holding on to anger and resentment for someone else, there's some thinking going on. It's not a passive process. We're usually actively thinking about what ticked us off about that person, why we're angry at them, why we should be angry at them. So there's really this time that becomes lost because we're thinking about that person. So this is really important. Again, we forgive other people for ourselves. We do it to restore our energy and our time. And this brings me to my second point. This is something from T.D. Jakes, Bishop T.D. Jakes. And I heard on the Oprah network that on OWN TV that I saw a YouTube video that really shared a wonderful quote that ties in very well. That if you hold on to your history, you could lose your destiny. If you hold on to your history, you could lose your destiny. Whoa, right? These are amazing words. And this is really, really piggybacking on what we just said about why we forgive. We forgive for ourselves because when we hold on to these aches, whether they're big or small, whether they're people that just said something to us, annoyed us, ticked us off, people that we're jealous of and we just can't let it go. When we hold on to that, when we hold on to those experiences from our past, we are keeping ourselves from living our destiny. That's a big deal, isn't it? Your destiny, my destiny, this is a big deal. We all want to live our destiny, really deep down. We all truly want to live our destiny, and that's all we're thriving for. So, knowing that we want to do that, it's really, really important that we begin to let go of our history. That especially, right, that history that's really keeping us weighed down, that those little incidences, those little things that someone said or did, as well as those big things, they become this boulder, this mountain that really weighs us down. And it's time that we forgive it and we let it go, whether it has to do with the other person or with ourselves. And forgiveness is a massively powerful way to really work with forgiving and with releasing that history so you can free yourself up to live your destiny. Okay, so the last thing I want to share with you today around this are 2 small things that you can begin to do to work with forgiveness work. So one, again, I have gratitude to Denise Duffield Thomas, the author of Get Rich Lucky Bitch, because she shared this Hawaiian ritual, the Ho'oponopono, and I'm going to put that below. It's a Hawaiian ritual, and what it is basically it's 4 sentences. When you break it down, there's 4 sentences that you repeat to yourself to practice with this forgiveness. So, and I'm going to leave it below, so if you want to investigate and look it up a bit more, you can do that. So these 4 sentences that you repeat to yourself are, I'm sorry, I love you, I forgive you, thank you. I'm sorry, I forgive you, I love you, thank you. And I suggest that you read more about this ritual, but these 4 sentences have been really helpful for me since I've started to apply them. And I recommend starting on smaller things, starting with smaller annoyances, because sometimes those bigger charges and things that have a larger history might be a bit more intense. So starting with these smaller things and seeing how you feel and seeing what happens are a great way to start with this work. One thing that I use for things that feel a bit bigger to me and feel like there's more to let go of is when I really tie in journaling and write a letter to that person that I don't send, but that I write out all of the things that have really pissed me off about that person. I just write them all down and kind of let it get messy on the page. And then if that feels a bit better to release and take a look at, then I'll repeat those 4 sentences to myself. So I encourage you, if this resonates, to one, the next time that you are holding on to an anger, resentment, jealousy, bitterness, ask yourself, what is holding you back from releasing that? What's holding you back from releasing that? And if there's no good answer, or even if you think there is, probe yourself a little bit to ask yourself, if I was to forgive them, who would I be doing it for? Because remember, when you forgive, you do it for yourself so that you can free yourself up to live your destiny, to have the time and the energy to live your destiny. So forgiving others and forgiving yourself is freeing for you. Remember that. Forgiving yourself and forgiving others frees you up to live your destiny, gives you more of the time and the energy to commit to that. So I would love to know what you do as well. How do you forgive? What helps you forgive? And what as well helps you to really stay in that place of forgiveness and to use that to really expand and live your destiny? I'd love to hear about it. And if you enjoy this video, come on over to JacquelineLacey.com where you can see more videos, and you can also place your email in and subscribe so I can email you every video that I share. I can subscribe through that homepage. And you can also find videos on hertube.tv. Wishing you an amazing weekend full of forgiveness and looking forward to sharing more with you next time. Thanks so much.